All right, so we are here with the head coach of the Sudanese national football team, Coach James Kwesi Appiah. Coach, good evening.
Good evening.
And thank you very much for having time with us here.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, so we are here to speak to Coach Kwesi Appiah exclusively on their group, how they are preparing for the next qualifiers, a very crucial game coming up against Senegal. And then we'll take a look at maybe some few things on Kumasi Asante Kotoko. That's why we are here with him this evening. Coach, this is not the first time you've been in Sudan. The first time you were in Sudan, it was for a club football commitment.
Yeah.
What is the connection with Sudan? After that, you came to the Black Stars again, then all of a sudden, we heard that you are back to Sudan. Seems to be a place you like.
Actually, the Sudanese are really good people. And when I went there 2010, as you said, I went because of the club. And the intention of the club was to build the team for them for 2 years. So I started with some young guys. I introduced a lot of young players into the club. And as at the time that I was leaving, 9 of the players of my team were playing for the national team. Even though, any match that we played, you could see some sign of improvement, or the way we played our game was totally different from how the Sudanese clubs were playing.
Yeah.
And for that reason, the mere fact that many of our players went to the national team, they thought, okay, I could come back and help with the national team as well.
Okay. But when you were given the submission, you did say that you introduced some young boys into the team. How were you able to identify those young talents?
When I went there, they had a youth team.
Okay.
So I intentionally played a friendly game with the senior side. So whilst they were playing us, I scouted some few young ones that I thought, given the opportunity, they could also play for the senior team.
Yeah.
And truly, all the young guys that I brought in, they all played for the senior team. And when I went recently, 5 of the 9 players were still in the national team.
Okay.
So I used them as a sort of point of contact or nucleus of my team that I want to go with the national team. So it actually helped.
Yeah. I mean, it brings back to the question that you seem to have a lot of interest in young players. I say this because I know that the likes of Jordan and Atsu, the likes of Jordan and Atsu, I mean, all those young boys, you are the one who, as it were, brought them to the limelight, straight to the national team. I don't know what it is, but what is it that strikes you when it comes to young players?
One thing with coaching a national team, you should not always be looking at what kind of players am I using now, and how long can I use them for. You should be looking at if this team that I'm using now, some of them are injured or they are not able to come. Who am I going to rely on? And for that reason, you should be looking at maybe 5 to 5 years going. Okay. If your intention as a national coach is, let me just use the players that I have to play a game, then I don't think you are helping the nation. You are thinking about yourself because you don't want to lose a match. And for that reason, you're looking at how best I can get some quality players to play now. But the intention should be you're building a team, but for how long can the team carry on to? When you have that in mind, it helps you to look at your young players, give them opportunity to play, and then you can get the best for the nation in the future.
Okay. Now, there is a school of thought that says that the young ones will not give you problems, as it were. And so probably that's how come some people want to target them.
When it comes to the national team,
yeah,
for a coach to pick a young player, that means the coach is really, really bold.
Okay.
In the sense that if you have, look at the qualities we have now. If you have all these quality professional players coming down, and you are saying, okay, let me bring some young players. Someone might sit back and say, is this guy serious? You know, but you should know what you want and what you want to achieve at the end of the day. When I brought Jordan, people nearly killed me because I think we played Sudan here in Sudan, and that was the first time I brought Jordan. And as you said, there have been so many Atsu, Wakasu, so many of them. And for a coach to bring a young player, first of all, the coach puts his job at stake, in the sense that if he brings a young player and the young player doesn't play well, it goes against him, the coach. And if he does well, I think it goes well for the nation. So it's not an easy thing to do as a coach. But if you have this mentality of, okay, let me give this people opportunity so that in future we can gain from it, then, you know.
Because for someone like Kwesi Appiah, for instance, sorry, the first time I saw him play, we also, asking the same questions among ourselves. What is a young boy? This is a young chap. Apart from the fact that you see them at training, you know how skillful or how talented they are. What gives you that confidence that if you put them in the game, you are going to get the results that you want?
You see, football, when was it? I think 2012, 2013, I started saying that football is coming of age. And we should not sit down and think that we are Ghana. And for that reason, anything that we're going to beat, we should beat them easily. No, so I have that mentality that, look, give young guys the opportunity because you can rely on them for a long time. Apart from that, you know, even though you're putting your job at stake, because if the things that doesn't go well, it's you, the coach, that you get sacked. But at the end of it, most of the time I make sure the players that I bring, you know, I cite them, because football is not just about what happens on the pitch. You know, you need to cite your players and bring their mentality to a level where if even he's down here, bring him to match with those that he's coming to meet at the national team. Because if you don't do that, most of the time the problem that we face is the younger ones, or I'll say some of the local players, when you bring them to the national team, when the senior players shout them to pass the ball to them, they are tempted to always. Meanwhile, if you are carried on with the ball, you could have maybe got a goal out of it. But most of the time, because they don't see them as professionals. Yes. So if you bring a local player to a national team, you should raise his morale or his confidence level to match with those who are coming from out there. And that will actually help them. There have been so many of them that I had to sit down with them and let them know that, look, how you play in your team, that's the reason why I invited you to the national team. So if you're going to get any ball and pass to the senior player, you will not come back again. So you change the mentality, and then a player like Japan, I don't know whether you remember.
I remember him. He used to play in Holland.
Yes. He's a very skillful and fast player. And when he came initially, any ball he got, he was just releasing the ball to the senior players. So I found out, I said, look, if you keep doing that, there's no way I'll call you to a national team. The way you play out there, that's the same way I want you to play. That's why I invited you. And since then, you take the ball, take on some players, you go and give some assist or score himself. So these are some of the things. I'm trying to bring a lot of examples for you to understand what I mean.
Really appreciate that anyway. So looking at the current Sudanese national team, the core of your team? Are they youngsters or is it a blend of the young and the old?
At the moment, we have the young and the old. The unfortunate situation is the war in Sudan.
Yeah.
We don't have a league, and for that reason, those that are available, they are the ones that you can depend on. And depending on, there's no way you get only youth.
Yeah.
You need to get blind, and at the same time, as I said, it's a difficult situation.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, as I said, football nowadays is not just about what happens on the pitch.
Yeah.
But if you go to the big teams, Man City, Liverpool, they have a whole lot of psychologists, who play their part of the pitch.
Yeah.
So some games, if you don't sign the player to the level needed to compete, you might sign the player thinking that, okay, they are good players, let them go and play. And you might face problems.
Yeah, so are your players, are they competing? Are they playing? Do they have clubs that they play for now?
Most of them play for Hela.
Then because of the war?
Because of the war, they have moved to play in Mauritania.
Oh, okay.
They joined the Mauritanian league.
Okay.
That league is not all that bad.
At least to keep them active.
Yeah. Because Hela is playing in the club championship, they are getting a lot of some competitive games.
Yeah.
But Merrick is out of the competition, so that is unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
I'm saying that these are the two big teams that I try to pick most of my players on, and then the rest of them play in Libya.
Okay.
The Libya league. Because if you are Sudanese and you are a good player, you are allowed to play in Libya.
Okay.
And for that reason, some of them have moved there.